For cheap gold, items and other boosts for Diablo 4, visit aoeah.com. Check out the link in the description, you get 3% off with the code ARIAT. Hello and welcome everybody. In this video, I summarize all further changes coming with the Season 5 patch that were applied after the PTR. We will directly start through. First, some general points. The damage bonus characters get for their class-specific main stat will be rebalanced, and the XP cap for monster level difference gets removed, so killing higher monsters pays even more. Leveling characters and especially rushing will become faster. They readjusted 3 uniques that were hardly used. Frostburn gloves will get up to 180% increased fire and cold damage on lucky hit, and the chance to freeze enemies gets massively increased. Fists of Fate get new useful affixes, attack speed, critical strike chance and up to 51% lucky hit chance, so they may become really useful for several builds. Flicker stabs also get some changes. Further, the seasonal mind cages will become a general part of the game. Item imbues at the occultist won't cost angel breath anymore. And in the temper recipe Natural Finesse, the close damage affix gets reduced to a maximum of 55%. In Helltide, the drop rate for hearts gets a bit lower, but in World Tier 1 and 2 you will only need 2 hearts to summon the Blood Maiden. They also massively improved the new event, which many PTR testers have criticized. The Infernal Hordes will drop a lot more ether, and the costs to open the chests will shrink. While you needed 250 ether for the greater affix chest before, you will now only need 60. So after a nice run, you will be able to get multiple items with greater affixes. So the event pays much more in relation to the effort. Also the duration was shortened, the waves will go 1 minute each and not 90 seconds. Now about the class changes. The Barb gets some massive nerfs because they reduce all extra damage from the key passives. Unconstrained is reduced from 100 to 35% and Unbridled Rage from 100% to 45%. The Gushing Wounds bonus damage gets halved from 140% to 70%, but here they add another additive damage bonus, scaling 1:1 on the critical strike damage, which does not depend on the critical strike chance. Further, they removed the Barbarian Protection recipe from the game, what also is a massive nerf. Without Tampering Imposing Presence, Martial Vigor or Guttural Yell, Immortal Barbs or huge life points of several hundred thousands won't be possible anymore. At least some uniques become more useful. Fields of Crimson gets huge strength and bleeding damage affixes, and a greater rupture size. The Amulet Battle Trance gets critical strike chance, close damage reduction and ranks to Duelist and Frenzy. The Druid gets some further buffs, Baldur gets more damage, and the key passives Perfect Storm and Earthen Might get improved as well. Also several aspects get buffs, for example Stormclaw, Blurred Beast and the aspect of Retaliation. The new unique item Björnfang's Tusk was designed as a pair of gloves first, but they now changed it to be a ring, with the same attributes. So that's nice, because now also Lightning Storm Druids can make use of it. In the Paragon system, they increased the damage caps of several legendary Paragon nodes. Thunderstruck, Survival Instincts and Earthen Devastation each get a maximum of 60% damage. The Necromancer gets only few changes, which are all positive. The lucky hit chance of most skills gets improved by 50%, and Blood builds get some buffs in the Paragon system. The overpower damage in the legendary node Bloodbath gets doubled, and with Blood begets Blood, the damage bonus gets doubled, and the cap gets increased from 30 to 50%. Further, they raise some affixes in the temper recipes Blood Finesse and Shadow Finesse. With the Rogue also mainly buffs, Flurry gets another damage boost from 94 to 130% base damage and also a bit more lucky hit chance. Wind Force loses its knockback ability, the Ring Saboteur's Signet and the Pan's Eyes in the Dark get reworked. In the Paragon system, No Witnesses gets increased from 35 to 45% and the duration from 8 to 10 seconds. A lot more changes are coming for the Mage class. The new unique Pan's Actual Conduction gets reworked, so the ultra high damage in combination with the Crown of Lucian will probably disappear. We don't know yet how the changes will look like, but I hope the new build won't become unplayable, because the gameplay itself is a lot of fun, but the damage was way too strong in the end. So the best would be to give the lightning much less power in the last bounces, but a bit more in the first ones maybe. That would be good for the balance, as well as for the gameplay. Further, there are several huge buffs for mages. The damage of all core and mastery skills gets increased by 15 to 20%. Hydra and Ice Armor also get slightly improved. With the passive skills, the mage gets some better defensive attributes. Worms gives more healing, Mana Shield and Align the Elements more damage reduction. So since almost all builds use those skills, it's like a general buff. They also increase the key passive combustion to 60% instead to 40%, and chatter will be increased to 45%, but it won't trigger by itself. With the aspects, Lightning Spear gets a small buff, and 2 others get reworked. In the Paragon system, the caps of most legendary nodes get increased, and also the scaling. Burning Instinct, for example, will be kept at 80%, not at 40% as they planned before, and Intelligence scales a bit better to the damage. Same way, the other nodes also got improved. My conclusions from the changes: Barbs will have some significant loss in power and also in their defensive attributes. But since the Barb was so OP before, something like that had to come, and I am very confident that it will not completely break him. My builds just don't change, they also run stable without the Barbarian Protection Temper recipe, and I guess the damage will still be high enough. We also should not underestimate the new unique one-handed sword that we can use for Flay and Bash Barbs. It adds up to 300% multiplicative damage and additional skill ranks, so don't worry too much about the nerfs. Whirlwind Fleet Barbs also will still be strong enough, but they probably won't beat their old time records in the pits. The Druid gets further buffs all around, and it's good to see him on the bright side of life in Season 5. I really like the change about Bjarnfangs to become a ring. Like that, we can also use it for Lightning Storm Druids, who of course wanna wear their special gloves. So the Lightning Druid will become very powerful again, but I guess there will be multiple strong Dudu builds in Season 5. With the Rogue, I just still recommend Flurry and Heartseeker. During the season I will optimize my builds. And for the Necromancer, summon builds will still be strong, but there is also a lot of potential in Bone Spirit and Blood Necros. With the Mage we will have to wait for the exact changes to the new pants, but I hope Chain Lightning will still be the way to go. If not, the Firebolt Mage will be a solid alternative, even though he can't make himself immortal anymore. I already applied my build to the new season. It will do a lot more damage than before and be more interesting to play. Guides are already in work, and you can find my Season 5 planner links in the description below. I'm not sure if I managed to present a full detailed guide to each one, and of course I maybe still change things during season. Also pay attention to the different item slots. In several cases I recommend different options, for example alternative items as long as you don't have the Unix and Ubers. I say goodbye for today, take care and may the loot be with you.
Follow me. Thank you. Goodbye.